look at that. We actually have Paul in a good mood, and it's Paul Lashin today for Pissed Off Paul. So that's awesome. Good morning, not pissed off Paul. It's because he saw a joke this morning in his email, and it made him laugh.
That was funny.
So now he's not mad.
Good way to start the day.
Yeah.
Paul enjoys nudity. You like your nude jokes.
What the hell? I'm surprised to see those on Facebook. I thought they would cut them off.
Oh, no.
I guess everything is open now.
Oh, yeah. Everything is.
No, you
forget it.
You can post raunchy stuff like that on Facebook, but if you post a something political,
yeah, you're screwed.
Then you're in trouble.
Yeah. That is true. So good morning. It's Monday, and it's good to see you here today, Paul. And we're going to bring back Mike Mish, who we tried last week.
We did,
and but we ended the show for damn good reason.
Yeah,
and now let's see if Paul, be on your best behavior. Because
it's what?
Black Widow Mish here. Oh my God. Yeah. So anyway, how was your weekend, Paul?
It was good. Yeah.
Was it?
Didn't do much.
Yeah.
I work during the week, the yard work. When it comes Sunday, I said, I don't do it on Sunday. Oh, by the way, you need to get your grass cut.
I'll cut it yesterday. Thanks.
You
did not see that this morning?
No, I didn't notice it this morning.
It's the nice part about being retired, right? You get to do yard work during the
do
week
it all
and relax on the weekends.
Oh, yeah, I do it all during the week. I don't do anything on the weekend. Yeah.
Well, the boy was told to, or mom asked him to do it a few times, and I'll do it. And I said to her, "Oh, he'll do it. Okay, when? Next week? But
you must have done it in the afternoon because we went by your house. You and I went by your house.
Yeah.
It's probably like 12:30.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
looks like he did it around 5.
Oh, there you go.
So no, but he did it. So,
but it's been cool though. It's like, what the hell's going on?
Sounds like that was Paul's nice way of saying your yard looks like shit right now. Get
your
grass
cut. Yeah. Let's welcome back Pissed Off Paul to the show.
I mean, that damn grass is growing.
Here we go.
It's growing crazy.
Yeah. My grandmother's like that. Like we'll go out for a ride, driving somewhere, and she'll be like, "You think those people are going to cut their grass? What's going on with the bushes at that house?" It's like, I don't know, Grandma. I don't even know who they are.
Paul, it's
well,
it's what you've become, Paul. It's what you've become.
You stop at the stop sign if you look around.
Hey,
what can I tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what Paul's become. It's Pissed Off Paul.
Hey, why not? That's what happens. You're entitled when you get old.
Right. Oh no, you're entitled when you're 20. 22, 24, 26.
And then it changes, and then you go back to it again when you get older.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. So.
Just looking through press releases to see if anybody got in trouble this weekend. And what's this one? Oh, here's a young girl that she looks really ticked off.
Oh.
You probably would be too if you got arrested.
That's the one for DUI?
Ledyard has a bunch of DUIs.
Yeah, DUI was a DUI.
Leaving the casinos.
Yeah, this one's on Iron Street, which I think is part of the reservation, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's like in the center.
Yeah. Failure to drive right and DUI. Yeah. May 11th, approximately 12:23 a.m., Ledyard police responded to the area of 204 Iron Street for the report of a vehicle that crashed and rolled over with unknown injuries.
Oh, wow.
Upon arrival, the accused was located sitting on the top of her vehicle, which was lying on its side in the woods on the eastbound side of the road. Wow. The accused was assisted down from the vehicle, so she got out of the car, rolled the car, got out, and got on top of it. So I'll just say
she was drunk. She was probably nice and relaxed, so she didn't tense up and get injured.
Yeah.
That's usually how it goes.
Ledyard Fire Department and EMS personnel went over to check her out. She declined medical treatment. Her vehicle had major damage, requiring the vehicle to be removed by the scene from the scene by a wrecker. Upon speaking with the accused, a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage was found to be emanating from her breath. The accused had admitted to police that she had drank too much at the location she came from. She failed a sobriety test, and she was held for 4 hours and released on $2,500 bond.
Yeah. Bummer.
And she is she's a young girl. Well, maybe not that young. Well,
Can't be that young. She'll be at least 21, right?
well, she was 35.
That's,
Yeah.
that's not a young girl.
She didn't look 35. She looked 35?
No, she don't.
She looks unhappy.
Well, she was on top of her car having a good time. So,
Well,
no, there's always a bunch of stuff out of Ledger.
yeah.
Anyway, so we're
Scrolling through arrest records. Is that what we're?
no. I'm trying to. Yeah, my own. No. We're all of a sudden we have a cruise group that's going. We're all going on a cruise in 2 weeks, and everybody is talking about, oh, we're checked in, right? But we're traveling with other people, and they'll say, well, what time are you checked in to get on the boat? Nobody's telling us. So it's like, all right, screw it. We'll just pick our own time. You get there, and we're all going together. So
Usually when you do cruises, you get off. They disembark in the morning, 9 or 10 o'clock. And
but you got to go through
right,
everything.
And then the cruise does everything, and then you're on by like 1, 2, 3 in the afternoon, something like that. The day that they leave. Where are you going? What islands?
We are going to 2 stops in the Bahamas, Grand Turk, and Amber Cove in the Dominican, which was okay. Amber Cove. We went on an excursion where they went and saw monkeys, which was fun, which is a lot of fun. And there was also a tour, and the town was very poor.
A lot of them are down there.
Yeah. And it was kind of depressing. So
when you get off into London, you should be able to find your way around.
I think it's depressing. When I was, I think in high school, maybe college, we went on a cruise, and one of the stops back then you could stop was Royal Caribbean had a portion of Haiti that you could stop at.
Yep.
Because there's beautiful beaches all around Haiti, even though the island is, going through tons of political stuff right now.
Yep.
And they brought you from the ship on one of their own boats, brought you over to it, and you had this pristine, beautiful area.
Yeah.
But there was like a 20-foot barbed wire, razor wire fence along the, from where the beach ended into the woods. And there was just all the, they would just sit there and watch you from.
Was that the Bahamas?
No, that was Haiti.
It was Haiti. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there was like armed guards and stuff like that.
Yeah, that
It's
kind
like,
of tells you something.
yeah. It's like,
we when we went to this one called Half Moon Cay, which we're going to again this time, and which is one of the Bahama stops.
Yeah.
And it's the Carnival's like private island.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to, you get on a boat and then they bring you in. What a beautiful island.
Yeah.
And the water was just
party cruise going on a Carnival, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
We went on a Carnival cruise in August. We're it's the same boat we're going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we loved it. We loved it. So we're going on it again. So
Went on a bunch of cruises when I was younger with my parents and stuff like that. Not so much anymore.
Oh, we had such a good time in August, and we're going again. So
Hey.
Yeah, and we did. That's why we're going in 2 weeks. This time we're bringing like 9 people. So
There you go.
Paul's paying for them all. So
We just got a pension, so we can.
Jesus, I mean, the guy just put a split in his garage, a split unit in his garage. He's got all the money. I mean, geez, really. I can't even afford a window unit, and he's, going around, well, I got money. Money bag flash.
I don't think so.
He says that. But then again, ask him about what kind of cars he has just in storage.
Hey.
Can we move on? Talk about banking.
So speaking about banking, Paul has a huge bank account.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, Paul needs something huge, and your your car,
What about
the
it?
Which
the
one?
Dodge.
What about it?
Well, you know how you're going to get that out of storage, and we were going to do that opening.
It's out.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah, it's
All
out.
right. So Justin, if you're
Like,
listening,
classic car?
No, it's a
Challenger.
Challenger. It's out.
Is it?
It's out of storage. Yeah.
All right. Because we're going to do like an open to the show and a closing to the show and stuff. So
Like burning out in front of
Nah.
Main Street in Jewett City, just roasting the tires.
Yeah, I don't burn out.
Huh?
I don't burn out.
Oh, yes, you do. Welcome to Paul's Pot Farm, Taylor Hill, Jewett City.
That kind of burnout.
Yeah. You walk in and you hear, "Hey, bud," and they're not talking to you. He's making fun of the plants. Hey, bud. Is Paul so stoned? The buds talk back. We've been doing the Paul's Pot Farm joke for years now.
It's been closed.
It is not closed. You're
It's
just
closed.
smoking it all yourself.
Closed.
No money in it
When
now. It's legal.
When the oil went up to $6-7 a gallon, guess what? Greenhouse closed. Yeah.
Paul has special guests that come into his pot farm every so often to bring customers in. This week it'll be Cheech and Chong.
Yeah. There you go.
So
I always see their ad like every time on Twitter and stuff like that. There's
Tommy Chong.
Tommy Chong's edibles. Everybody's
Connie
yeah.
Chong, wasn't she a newscaster?
No, Tommy Chong.
Oh,
Cheech and
Tommy
Chong.
Chong. Oh,
No,
that's-
that's Cheech and Chong.
oh, yeah, okay, that's Chong.
Connie Chung,
Connie Chung was married to Maury Povich.
That's right.
the Chunger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they even alive anymore?
Well, you have the internet at the tip of your fingers there.
I have not paid any attention to the Deadpool lately.
No, he's still alive.
Once in a while, Michael, talk about the Deadpool around here.
Now, the latest one I saw over the
The what?
weekend was in the beginning of Jaws, the woman that's swimming.
Yeah.
She's just passed away.
The one at night?
Yeah.
The first one that Jaws gets?
Yeah, she was a real swimmer. She was
Oh.
actually one that competed in swimming
Yeah.
because that's what he wanted to do. He wanted a real swimmer to do that.
To get mauled by a shark?
Yeah, and she just passed away over the weekend.
I don't see her in here at all. Maybe she wasn't that famous.
Who, the woman? No, she wasn't.
Yeah, usually they.
I mean, you never saw her face, really.
Yeah, she wasn't that famous. She was like a stunt person. Yeah,
There was a weather guy out of L.A. that just passed away.
yeah.
Sam Rubin.
Yeah.
He was. They were all over that. You know the crazy cheerleader from Greece?
She died too.
She just died.
Yeah,
All baby boomers,
Oh my god!
the oldest generation, the largest generation,
Yeah.
is aging out.
yeah.
And then a comic, Sam Moreno. I did not know who he was. Rudy Moreno.
Oh,
I don't know. He died at the age of 66.
yeah.
The godfather of Latino comedy.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. I
I didn't know there was such. I thought it was just comedy.
Peggy said that Sam was amazing. Oh, Sam Rubin. He's the. Heard he was pretty funny. Peggy's from LA originally, so.
Yikes!
yeah.
But
She must know a lot about traffic. It's wild out there.
well, she doesn't live there anymore. She's moved to a more mundane state. Yeah.
Was that Utah?
Utah. Yeah, Peggy has 7 husbands now. So
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, I guess it's
she's
legal.
paying less taxes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the taxis must be a bitch, with all those husbands.
Married, filing jointly 7 different times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paul would do it if he could.
Did you see where they're holding billions of dollars of tax returns that nobody's claimed? People have
Oh yeah,
tax returns, money going back to people. It's like billions of dollars that people haven't claimed yet.
Well, the government will find a way to piss that money away.
No, not Connecticut. Federal.
Well, then they'll really find. I mean, federal's worse than Connecticut.
Now we got pissed off Mish.
Don't get me started on taxes.
Oh, what happened?
Taxation is theft.
Oh boy. It's that time of year, huh?
Hey, I pay my taxes, but I mean, the Connecticut started the state income tax during Lowell Weiker's era in like 87, 88 is a temporary tax. Yeah. Temporary taxes always seem to stick around.
It was supposed to go away. It was supposed to go away. It's been around almost 40 years.
Yep.
No, they're supposed to have dropped it, 0.5% or something?
It's a joke.
Yeah. I remember that too. I remember that they, he said, it's just going to be around to get us into the black. And then it never went away.
No. Anything ever go away once they do it?
No.
AIDS.
Yeah.
That doesn't even go away. No. Nothing goes away. That's my point.
No, it doesn't go away.
Taxes.
Yeah. All right. So why are you here today, Mike? Well, let's talk about
mortgage business,
that kind of stuff. What's going on, and what are you seeing in Connecticut? Because last week Mike was here, but unfortunately we were not able to continue the show because we had an illness here that we had to take care of real quick.
Not my illness.
Not your illness.
Right.
No. You're just crazy ill. You're just crazy. So anyway, Mike, good morning.
Good morning.
So what's going on? I know you want to talk about renovations.
Construction lending.
What's going on with mortgages right now? I mean, because of course, during COVID and stuff like that, which we always kind of, retro back to, like as a jump off point. Started creeping up and up and up and up and up. And where are we now? And where were we? And where are we going?
Oh, that's a good question. Mortgage rates right now are kind of hovering right around 7%.
So they've stayed there probably around a year and a half now, huh?
Last fall, October, November, they kind of got up at some points close to 8. And then they stayed fairly elevated, above 7 to 7.5 through the end of the year. And then there was a little bit of a blip like around end of February, March, parts of April, where they kind of looked like they were heading, down mid 6s, low 6s, or they were going to go towards that. And then as soon as the inflation numbers started showing that inflation crept up in March and then again in April, they went higher quick. They were back up to mid 7s. And they're starting to come back down. They're around 7, depending on the program and different things like that. But the jobs market is starting to, look like it's a little bit weaker. There's not as many private sector jobs being created. Most of the jobs being created are government jobs. So all of those things start to kind of weigh on wage growth and how that affects inflation and different stuff like that. And all of that stuff is a big player in how mortgage rates are derived.
You have something?
I can say that I can understand the private sector for the simple reason that if you own a business, to purchase any kind of materials to do anything is very expensive.
And the capital to borrow the money to buy it.
So a lot of people aren't doing things like they used to do because you really can't afford it.
All right. And government sector job. I mean, we could get into that in a different subject when we talk about government sector jobs. I'm not a big believer in the federal government should have government jobs, but the federal government should be so small they shouldn't even need it. But in that situation, I mean, the government is hiring, 80 to 100 and something thousand people a month, but running $1 trillion deficits. So
that's a different conversation, I think.
Yeah.
So, so mortgages are kind of their status quo right now.
Yeah, I mean, you generally find people right now that I talk to, that are buying. It's not like during COVID where everybody was buying because rates were low and you wanted to lock in. Now you're basically buying if you have to. You know what I mean? What
do you mean buying if you have to? who has to? You know what I mean?
Somebody
Other than-
moving into this area that doesn't want to pay $2,500 a month for rent, that just took a job at Electric Boat,
Yeah.
and is going to buy. The one that I hear mostly right now is people that were renting, either an apartment or renting a single family house, and this, like in your situation, your landlord before where you were renting,
Yeah.
Is looking at it, and especially if they're older and they're looking at the top end of the market right now, and they're
Yep.
saying, I'm just going to capitalize. If I'm mid 60s, late 60s, whatever it is, or you're retiring, moving down south, and you want to get rid of properties. So a lot of people that come to me are like, hey, I got to be out of my house in 30, 60, 90 days because my landlord's selling the house, and I don't want to buy this house, and I need to go find a place. So that buyer has to find something. They're forced into the market almost, because right now, with prices being elevated, interest rates, it's not like people are voluntarily saying, hey, now's the time where, I'm going to sell my house and move up. A lot of people look at that as, they have a lot of equity, but if they got a 3% or a 2.5% and they're going to 7 or 7.25%, that jumps their mortgage payment up a lot. So people are taking pause. But we're so short of inventory.
That was my next question.
That,
that's they're saying.
I mean, it's.
Plus, I heard on the news the other day that the cost of housing, now the market's even, the price of houses is even going up more than it is.
Yeah.
The prices are going up higher.
Yeah.
So.
It's a supply and demand issue.
Yeah.
And we have more, there's more people that need to buy. We had a long period of time in this part of Connecticut after the crash in 07, 08 that we didn't build housing. There was just no need to add supply because people were leaving the state.
Yeah.
And so when we did start, before around 2019, and then when COVID hit and buildings started picking up, we just don't have enough housing for people, not only not leaving the state anymore, but now getting people from, as crazy as it sounds, higher tax states, New York, New Jersey, moving here. Mm-hmm. So we just don't bring enough housing supply to market.
Yeah. So I get,
and you can't build affordable housing.
Well, see, that was my next question is like, if there's no inventory,
mm-hmm.
you would think that the construction market would boom.
It is.
Okay. So, but it's very expensive, correct?
Very expensive and very difficult with the zoning that a lot of these towns and the state and things like that have to bring housing to market.
And on top of that, you got the renters that were having a big issue, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's compounding the issue because now the renters are getting their prices, their rent is going up, and the landlords are kicking them out. So now you got all those people where are they going to go? Yeah.
So where does that go? Where does that go with construction loans? If everything is going really, really high and mortgage rates are kind of just hovering around the same, I mean, how is business with construction loans?
Well, you're generally
we're talking new construction.
Yeah, when I'm dealing with construction, it's very, most of what I do is where people are buying in a subdivision or they're buying a piece of land and building a custom home.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much, new construction for 350, 400, 450, which some would say is a starter house nowadays. So most of the time when I'm doing construction lending, somebody's building not their starter house, they're building either their step-up house for $500,000 to $600,000, or their forever home, which might be 6, 7, 8, 9, $1 million, $1.2 million, $1.5 million. Mm-hmm. And when you get up to that, if somebody has a house that they've had for years or they've been saving, they're to the point now where if they can do it, they're doing it. Because what they did during COVID is they said, well, maybe we're going to wait a year or two because materials and things are costing more. Mm-hmm. Well, if you could have gotten a construction loan at 3 or 3.5% during COVID, and you might have spent $50,000 or $75,000 more to build, you don't save as much money as now, or you don't lose as much money, I should say, as now as building something for even $25,000 or $50,000 less, if it is any less, because mm-hmm. labor is so much more, even though materials have gone down. But if your rate is 7 or 7.5 versus 3 or 3.5, you're going to pay more interest on that.
Yeah.
But some people just say, you know what? Screw it. If I can do it, I'm going to do it. And that's what a lot of people do. They waited a year or two and just got to the point where, hey, I'm going to capitalize on selling my house and building the house that I want.
And if people are looking for a house and they'll try to buy one, they get outbid by somebody by, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. You want to buy a house, that's what's happening.
And the amount of cash, it amazes me, the amount of cash that comes into the market for even first-time buyers.
Yeah.
They're getting it from their grandmother. They're borrowing it from their parents. They're taking out of a 401k.
Yeah.
Which is not a good idea.
Well, I mean, it depends. It depends on how much money you have and how old that. I've seen. I worked with a guy that I know up in New Hampshire. He bought his first house. He got $650,000 from his in-laws.
I meant talking about taking money out of your 401k.
Well, that's a little bit different. But if they're taking a little bit for a down payment and then getting the rest from grandma and grandpa and mom and dad, and they're sitting on money that's liquid, then they do it. Then down the road, they can always refinance and take the money back out if they have to.
Yeah.
So Laura has a question, and I want to ask you, and it's any advice for someone looking into investing in real estate today? We'll get to that question in a minute. We're going to take a quick break, and maybe you can give an answer what you think on that.
Yeah.
All right. Keep it right here on SNSN.
Dentist. In a word, yes, especially if that dentist is Dr. Katzoff and the staff at Griswold Dental Associates. They follow all the latest safety protocols while doing what they do best, taking care of you. From preventive to restorative, your dental care couldn't be in better hands. To schedule your appointment, call Griswold Dental Associates today, 860-376-2626. That's 860-376-2626.
Empire Tire in Plainfield is the place to get quality new and used tires and good old-fashioned customer service. Did you know that if you happen to have a leak in one of your tires, drive into Isaiah's Tire on Route 12 in Plainfield. They'll check it out, plug it if it's needed, and won't even charge you. Why? The folks at Isaiah's Tire want you to experience service like it used to be and to remember them when it's time to get a great set of tires at an unbeatable price. Isaiah's Tire, formerly Empire Tire, now located just up the street in Plainfield on Route 12. Find them on Facebook. That's Isaiah's Tire.
You buy better at Burns. You buy better at Burns. You buy better.
New year, same problem. These insurance prices always seem to be on the rise. Is it simply the company you're with, or is there more you can be doing to manage your insurance cost? Call the Burns Agency today and let our qualified staff walk you through coverage options, eligible discounts, and other cost savings. You can reach us at burnsagency.com, by phone, or better yet, stop by our convenient locations in Norwich and Dayville. The Burns Agency, proudly serving Eastern Connecticut since 1932.
City Savings Bank's commitment to helping local businesses fuel growth was recognized by the Small Business Administration and readers of the Commercial Record. We invite you to put our winning commercial lending team to work for your business. Because when local businesses succeed, we all win. To learn more, visit jcsbank.com. Jewett City Savings Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
We are back. Yes, yeah. Eastern Connecticut Savings Bank, they do. They sponsor us through sports and everything. And matter of fact, I will mention them in a little bit. But yes.
Nice.
Yes. We love ourselves some Eastern Connecticut Savings Bank.
Me too.
Also, who else? Highway Campers on Route 12. One of our sponsors. Dean's Corner Diner, Uncle Cranky's, Rubino's, Full Circle, and now Rubino's Full Scoop.
Oh, they got ice cream out there?
Yeah, they're doing ice cream.
Nice.
Yeah.
Plainfield Chiropractic. So we appreciate all those fine businesses, and there's more as well. So, all right, just before the break, and people go, I ain't listen to no commercials, I'm out of here. So they do. But so they'll listen to it later. Usually people come back. They do. Because those 2 minutes are important. I'm going to get out of here. Laura wants to know any advice for someone looking into investing in real estate.
That's a good question. I mean, you kind of have two schools of thought when you talk to people about investing in real estate. If you wait, if you waited for, let's say, rates to drop or something like that, you're gonna miss out, on equity that's being built. I still feel right now, when I talk to a lot of people, especially if they were around the age and they remembered the last market crash in 07, 08, some people are hesitant to get back into the market.
Are we heading that way again?
I don't think so.
Okay. What is that, because of the sales market is so strong, or
two things? We have there's other parts of the United States. A lot of other parts of the United States are already seeing a drastic decline in not in values, but in prices aren't going up. They're flatlining or they're decreasing slightly in some areas in the South or the Southwest, markets that were overheated. They also bring a lot more supply to the market. So supply and demand, if you're bringing more houses, it's going to help flatten things out. So around here in, southeastern Connecticut, southern New England, however you want to look at it, we don't bring enough housing supply to market. So that's not going to be something. And then the other big thing that affected the crash last time that's different than this time is mortgage lending has dramatically changed since then. In the early 2000s, you could get, when I first got into the business in 2000,
a primate could get a loan, couldn't they?
You could get 100% financing down to a 500 credit score with a stated income loan, even if you were a W-2 wage earner. So basically that's saying you get a W-2 at your job that says you make 50 grand a year, but you're telling them that you make 100 grand a year.
Okay.
And you're getting 100% financing on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Or there's no income verification loans at 100% all of those things and all of that stuff that, people blame the mortgage industry on. It really all came down from two initiatives back then. The government was pushing home ownership, saying we need to expand these programs and, everybody should own a home. I'm of the I've always believed not everybody should own a home.
Okay.
If you're responsible enough to show that you have credit and income and things like that, it's great, but it's not for everybody. It's like saying everybody should be a parent. Not everybody should have kids.
Look at Paul.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's my take on it and stuff like that.
Are they kind of doing that now?
No, it's harder. The underwriting guidelines to get a mortgage now and the quality of the loans that are out there is, probably better than anything I've seen in the last 15 years. I mean, we're
making check-ins, making sure.
I mean, the federal government makes mortgage lenders go through to check for the federal, back then, self-employed borrowers and things like that, there was ways to get around showing all your income. But as the federal government has taken over more and more of the mortgage industry, federal government, if they're controlling the mortgage industry, they don't want you to be able to buy a house without showing all your income. And I have borrowers sometimes will say, well, why is that? It's like, well, because they want to tax you on it. They don't want you to be able to buy something without showing all your taxes and your income and taxes, because then they can get income tax from you.
Yeah, in a way, that's probably a good thing, because the last drop, everybody lost their houses.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. Overspent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a lot of that? You get a lot of people worry about being skittish, thinking they're going to lose their house or right off the bat because of higher pricing, because of higher mortgage rates. Do you find people backing away?
Not so much from the housing part. If it was just the housing going on right now with the costs, I don't think it would be as bad. It's all of the things that people have to pay for nowadays that have gone up so dramatically high, is what I think makes people pause, because they're not really sure on where the economy is going.
Right.
Are they going to need to get
Does anybody really know where the economy is going? Isn't it kind of playing like roulette?
Well, I mean, there's some indicators that you can look at with stuff like that, but I mean,
well, sure, there's some indicators that's going to end up on 32 black too, because of, but
I mean, we just probably within the last week or two, I think the jobs report said that we're at the highest level of full-time workers that have also taken a part-time job.
Okay.
Wow.
So people are stretched thin. We went from having a surplus of savings of, I think it was 1.2 or 1.3 trillion in savings during COVID. And now we've reversed that to where we're at the lowest level in savings in the last, 30 or 40 years. And we're over $1 trillion in credit card debt. So we've had a couple $1 trillion swing in the last 4 years, because people haven't stopped spending.
Some of us have.
Yeah.
Well, they say the younger people don't use credit cards, right? That's what I'm hearing.
They don't use credit cards. They use cash.
They use cash.
They don't use cash.
Yeah.
They use Venmo. The big thing that came out that
Cash App
is the whole buy now, pay later. Like growing up in the 80s, that was layaway if you went to Caldor or something like that. Well, nowadays people can do that for everything. Like
Affirm.
The owner of my company was on a call the other day and we were talking about it, and he saw something where Open Table, which is for making table reservations.
Yeah, I've used it.
Is like piloting a program for if you want to go to a restaurant and make it, you can do a reservation and then be able to pay for that over 4 installments. So you're talking about that mentality of buy now, pay later. People are going to be able to do that for going out for dinner and drinks.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, I think PayPal does that too.
I don't know. There's one called Klarna.
Yeah,
that I know of. There's actually one that I know of they used, which it was, and it's the way they market it is, pay over time, but really it's 4 payments. You make the first one up front, and then it's 3 additional payments, and it's not a month; it's every 2 weeks. So,
but you're financing it. You're paying. They're not doing it for free. There's interest.
No. Not these. The ones that are broken into 4, where they're making their money is that they have a really high buy down rate from the merchant.
Right.
Yeah. It's like 6 to 7%.
Right.
So like if you like a restaurant or something like that, or you're selling a very high margin product, you can afford to give a little bit of margin away if you're going to gain customers, by 4 installments. I'm not going to buy chicken parm and pay it over 4 installments, but some people will, or a lot of people will.
Yeah.
I'm not, but
I just want to pay more people in cash so that they don't have to pay taxes on it. That's my goal.
I do use and have used one called Affirm.
Yeah,
I use that all the time.
I've seen that when I've done stuff for people's credit for like if they have vet bills and all these different type of things. Yeah.
You can do, and actually the interest rate on those are very low.
Yep,
they're very low.
Well, you know how most of those companies, like those 0% interest, you know how they get people. They give you 0% interest
for a certain amount of time,
and if you don't pay it in full, it's retroactive from day one. So if you do,
they've been doing that for a long time. That's nothing new.
Wells Fargo's a big one for one of the biggest merchants that does that for different places. So if you buy something for 30 grand, you don't pay it off in 3 years. You get taxed at 30% interest from day one, and you never pay it off.
Chris says, and by the way, Chris, hey, where's
the chicken?
Yeah,
it's right there.
Where it is? There you go. Chris sent us that from his home. That's where we got the chicken.
Yeah.
Chris says, he goes, I just paid my credit cards off. Had to work my butt off.
Smart.
So
good for him. I don't have credit cards anymore. I don't have a credit card.
If I use one, I pay it off every month.
Yeah.
They don't make any money on me because they pay it.
Yeah.
Because I don't have, if I'm buying stuff, not going to be a big balance.
Yeah.
Well, here's something that I did, and I've done it. This is the second time I've done it. Is they have like Carnival cruises.
Yeah.
you can finance your cruise.
Yeah.
Over 9 payments, and it's interest free. So if you're going to spend $3,000 on a cruise, take that money, put it in a 90-day CD or something like that, or a 6-month CD or 9-month CD, put it in there, let it sit there, and then instead of using that money and throwing it away, make a little bit on it. So now your cruise is a little bit cheaper.
Yeah. Everybody looks at things differently like that.
Yeah. So I did that.
Yeah.
I did that. So
I don't fault anybody that does that.
No,
Anybody can do what, you know what I mean? For me, I don't like to buy things, and not because I'm, it's because I learned from mistakes I made when I was younger.
Okay.
That for me personally, I like to pay things and have them paid off. And growing up, my father was like that. And I would always, I'd be like, why won't he buy me those new sneakers? Why won't he buy me this? Why won't he buy me that? Like, every other kid's got it. Why can't he just get me a 4-wheel? Right. And he was, pretty strict with it. And now he's retired in his 70s, and, he's got guys that he grew up with, or people his age that spent throughout their life. And now they're living off just Social Security. And he's in a very good financial position for somebody his age that, isn't college educated, but saved and did things, though probably the old school boring ways some people are doing. But he's enjoying retirement.
Laura has another question. She goes, are there different qualifications to get a loan as an investor?
Yes. Generally, if you are, unless you're buying, a multifamily property and you're going to live in one of the units, technically people would say that's an investment
Insurance
property.
is different too.
Very different. But let's say you were going out and you're buying a 2-family or a 3-family or a 4-family, which you can go up to 4 units without it then becoming a commercial loan once you go over that. You can do FHA, 3.5% down, conventional 5% down, VA. You can get 100% financing on a multifamily. So there's those programs if you're living in the property. Mm-hmm. If you own a single family house and you want to get into being a true investor, then you're looking at 25% down on a multifamily, 20% on a single family if you're buying another single family as an investment property. And then for a 2, 3, and 4 family, you need to have 25% down. And if you're using rental income to qualify, you need additional reserves, which is additional months of mortgage payments in the bank. So it can be a barrier. It's why I've always given people the advice that if you think you want to own properties long term, the best thing you can do is buy the highest unit property first. Because
a 4-family?
Buy a 4-family, live in one of the units, rent out.
If you can find one.
Right. Refinance it in a perfect world.
Yeah.
Refinance it down the road, and then go buy a 3-family. Live in that, refinance it, go buy a 2-family. Refinance that, buy your single family, because it makes sense with if you're 22, 23 years old, you're living in a small apartment, then you maybe move to a bigger apartment, then you get married, move to a 2-family, then you have a family with kids, you have a single family. I've seen investors that do it that way.
I told kids, that, like there's one that I told just recently. I said, you're living at home. Make all the money you can right now. I said, then go and buy it. I mean, you can save. When you're living at home, you could save some serious money.
Yeah.
If you really don't have any kind of obligation, to pay anything, or or your bills are not extreme.
Yeah.
I told this guy, I said, save your money. I said, build it up. I said, then go buy a duplex. Go buy a 3-family home. I said, instead of worrying about getting a roommate and getting an apartment, for party time.
Yeah.
I said, because you just piss that away. Yeah. But I said, how much you'll be ahead of the game more than most people if you do that?
Because I don't think
buy a
housing
3-family home and go for it.
I don't think housing is going to get less expensive over the next 10, 15, 20 years. I would be more apt. I have 2 kids, 6 and 5.
Yeah.
I would be more apt to buy a house that would eventually, an investment property, and pay it off and put that house in their name when they're 18 or 21 before I would save money for my kids to go to college. That's my personal thought. I'm just not a big believer in college anymore.
I think there's a lot of that's a different show.
Yeah.
But I there's a lot of that creeping up as well. So
Yeah, I mean, where are you going to find a 2 or 3, 4 family house today? They're going to be an older home. I don't think they build any of those anymore, do they?
No, I mean, you can find them. I mean, it's just a matter of, can you find one in a decent condition? Does it need to be completely renovated? Because then you can do renovation loans on multifamilies.
let's talk about renovation loans.
Yeah.
So what qualifies as a renovation loan? I mean, how big does it have to be? Does it have to be anything a certain level, or
Generally, there's a minimum of 5 to 10,000 in repairs, depending on the program, up to whatever the loan program allows for. So, I mean, you could buy a single story ranch, because the difference between a renovation and construction loan is that house already had a CO on it. You know what I mean? It's certificate of occupancy.
certificate of occupancy? Okay.
So it was a house that was built, that was lived in. You could buy a 900 square foot ranch and do a renovation loan and turn it into a 2-story colonial with an attached garage and a bonus room above it.
Yeah.
So that's, you can do things. Sometimes people do renovation loans so that the house they're buying meets the program. If they're doing a VA renovation loan or an FHA renovation loan and the house has chipping paint or doesn't have the proper railings, you can do the items needed and include it in the loan to be able to bring that property up to the code or the program for that you're qualifying for. Other people do it for the first example I gave, which was to maybe find the neighborhood that they want to live in or the area they want to live in, but they can't find the house. So it's easier to turn a house in the neighborhood that you want it into by renovating it than maybe finding a house that's already been renovated, because a lot of times you can add value by doing the renovations. Mm-hmm. You're not going to do most of them yourself. Some programs don't allow you to do any of it. But if you're buying the property and you're putting in the renovations through a contractor, a licensed contractor, and doing it properly, you can, not maybe pay over market.
So, is it something that has to be attached to the house or internal in the house to get a renovation loan?
What do you mean?
Like, I want to put a fence up.
Yeah, I mean, you can generally do that. I mean, there's also other options. So it probably, putting a fence up probably wouldn't be, the only thing. But if you were doing, a new roof, siding, windows, and put the fence in there, then yes, you're probably not going to do a renovation loan just to do a fence, because you could probably finance it through the fence company.
Got it.
And also depending on what the interest rate is that you have on your current mortgage.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else that you wanted to blow on through? Are more people taking advantage of renovation loans right now, more so than new construction? Or, in other words, are people fixing things more than buying new? And is that driven by not having a lot of inventory as like a second choice?
I wouldn't say it's something that a majority of people are doing. It's something that I started to concentrate on, before COVID, like 2019, when I got back in the business. I kind of had an interest in doing more of the renovation. And so I started doing it then.
It's Barbara, the mail lady.
Stole my bazooka.
She went and stole her bazooka. Look at this. I got stuff from
walking up the stairs.
Old school.
Barbara, the mail lady.
Oh, thank
Bazooka.
you.
She's only going to go get another one.
That stuff will break your jaw.
I know. Bye, Barb.
Thank you.
It's funny how going to the post office. And she goes, yeah, they always put me on the radio. And I'm like, because you walked right in during the show. I said, of course we're going to put you on, silly.
Yeah.
So.
But sorry.
Go ahead.
But so because I started to, and then when I was at Eastern, really focused on new construction. So because I've built that up as a referral source, people will seek me out because of I wish you could say my expertise or my the fact that I do a lot of construction lending and work with a lot of different builders and contractors and stuff.
Gotcha.
Because it's not, if you just go to your average loan officer at any other mortgage company, if they're not well versed in construction lending, which a lot of lenders don't offer, or they don't do renovations, it can turn into a real disaster. Because I know people that are in the mortgage business that are phenomenal loan officers, but if you don't have an understanding of, cost estimates, blueprints, breakdowns, what it takes to go from start to finish, from applying for a building permit on a new construction house to the end, if you're not explaining that up front to people, you know how the process works, it can turn into a quagmire.
Giggity.
Giggity.
He said quagmire. So all right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming back. And I know it's it was a 2-trip deal.
That's all right. I live close.
Yeah, it's true.
Canterbury to Jewett City is not a long drive.
But I'm sure we'll have you on again real soon. Yeah. So because things change. And what's your phone number? So like if give the phone numbers that people can get in hold of you at, and then for One Trust Home Loans.
Yeah.
And that way, even if they don't get it, because people will Bluetooth this through the audio in their car, and of course they don't have a 10. Yeah. They don't know where they're driving.
I have one,
but they'll go. But they know they can rewind it,
right,
back, and they can get the phone number. So why don't you give us your business contact information and your phone number and email and all that good stuff.
Business and personal cell is the same. I have one number, so you can reach me out 7 days a week, 860-884-2103.
And that is true. About 7 days a week. I know that personally.
Nights, weekends,
yes,
mornings. And then my email is just mmish, so MMISH @onetrusthomeloans.com.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, reach out.
Yeah. And I picked his brain for 2 freaking years. But that stuff's going to break your jaw, man.
Oh, it's gonna.
It's gonna.
I can already feel it. It only lasts for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, Bazooka Joe.
Mm.
That was the stuff, though, man. When I was a kid, Bazooka Joe. So anyway, all right, Mike Mish, thank you so much.
Have a great day.
All right, Paul, have a good one.
You got it.
All right, thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. I believe Wayne will be here.